Hello, everybody. It is January 26th, Wednesday. I'm Kim Bergen-Jackson, the administrator at Oaknall, and this is our weekly COVID update. I am positively letting you know that we have no new cases of COVID among our resident population. And we did staff testing today, and we only had 4 new cases of people being positive. 4 sounds like a lot, I realize, but it is less than we had last week, and it's only 3 Oaknall employees today and 1 non-Oaknall employee. So we have a number of staff regularly in the building who do not work for Oaknall, and we test them as well. And so one of them tested positive today. Again, everybody is only mildly symptomatic or not symptomatic at all. Everyone is vaccinated, and I think that's helping. We continue to be in outbreak status, however, because of the new positives. We earlier in the week reported on Monday when we tested that unfortunately 4 residents in assisted living had tested positive for COVID. In addition to the 6 or 7 total residents that we have tested positive in independent living. So still, health center residents are fine. Even the residents who are positive in assisted living and independent living are doing well. Most people are surprised that they're testing positive and they are asymptomatic or only have mild symptoms. We haven't had a new case of COVID in independent living for a number of days, which is exciting. And I think maybe I'm prematurely going to say I think we have seen the worst of this outbreak and we're on the downhill side of it. Johnson County similarly has seen a decrease in cases over the past 3 weeks, although minimal and still extremely high. Over 400 people testing positive every day in Johnson County. We still can see a slight decline, which is positive in a good way, that we're seeing the numbers go down slightly. There's still way too many people hospitalized at UIHC in the regular units and in the ICU, and still a number of children hospitalized. So I think UIHC is at about 74 for hospital admissions, and overall across the state, transmission rates are still extremely high and hospitalizations are extremely high. So we're not out of the woods yet, but I do feel optimistic about the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping that by February, mid-February at the latest, we'll be able to resume activities as we had before. We have allowed TOEs to resume very small sessions, limited group members, and spread out very far apart, and masks in place. We did also adjust the seating in the theater, which limits the amount of people that are in the theater and kept apart, at least 6 feet apart. And then if you want to see a movie, you'll have to wear a mask there too. Still being overly cautious about dining, and would like to wait another couple weeks just to make sure our staff are through the worst of it. But like I said, I'm hoping by Valentine's Day we can resume normal function. That's not a dead date. It's not drop dead for sure. So don't anybody make any plans for Valentine's Day. But I'm being optimistic. I still would recommend that you limit your activities outside of Oaknall. If you're going to be in a group, please wear a mask. It's best if you know the activities of the group members. You know, if you can say they're similar to your activities and your exposure risk, you're probably reducing your risk there. Limit your exposures with your family members, anybody that's traveled extensively in the past 6 weeks. Anybody, of course, who's symptomatic, The Omicron variant is the prevalent variant now and does seem to have milder symptoms. I'm not saying it's milder for those people who are unvaccinated, but it certainly does seem to be very similar to a cold for most people, a severe cold for a few people, and I have seen success with the monoclonal antibodies for those people who are very symptomatic or immunocompromised. So all good news, I think, although still very cautious. I'm feeling very optimistic. Trying to think, sorry, I'm taping from a remote location and I'm staring at myself in the camera and it's distracting. The staff who have tested positive are all doing fine. I don't have a total number for you today since the outbreak began in December, but it is by far the most viral activity we've seen. It's very common right now across the whole state. People are seeing high numbers of positivity. So we're in line with everybody else, if that makes you feel any better. I do expect more variants to come. I don't think that this is over for COVID, but I hope it's morphing into an endemic virus that will be more influenza-like and less deadly for most people. That is all that I have for today. We will test test residents in the health center and assisted living. We'll continue to do that weekly. We will test staff weekly, and then we're testing anyone who's symptomatic or concerned about an exposure or potential exposure as those cases come up. We do have limited testing supplies, which I was hoping would be better by now, but it's actually a little bit worse. So we do have a supply chain for the rapid test, but it isn't what we're used to having. So we may request that you send in a PCR test if you become symptomatic. Those do take longer because the state hygienic lab is overwhelmed. So it's been about 48 hours plus for test results from the lab. So I realized that you really want to know when you take a test, and those rapid tests, we've become pretty reliant on those 15-minute results. But if we don't have access to testing supplies, we're going to have to monitor that more carefully. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Sarah Ruhlman or Steve Rowe or Steve Cuppy, and they'll divert the questions to me and we'll find out the answers. I'm not in the office this week due to the Leadership Academy, but I am checking my emails all the time, and I can be available by phone in the evening, so leave me a message. My telephone number at work is 319-466-3014, and those voicemails go straight to my email by magic, thanks to IT. So once again, things are looking up is my overall message. Continue your vigilance and stay safe and stay healthy. And I will come and see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Take care.